Hi, and welcome to the Vision Within. We are your hosts. I'm Katrina.
I'm Lori.
Loretta.
And I'm Lisa.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the energy of the spring equinox, what that brings to us, what that means in terms of our growth for this year, and how to welcome in the new phase of the seasons. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to kick us off a little bit and talk about, because you all know I love a good equinox. Dig the fall equinox,
what
love
day
the spring
is it
one.
this year?
It is March 20th.
Okay.
And this year, and we're going to have a gathering for our group, and hopefully we'll be able to post some of that on our YouTube channel.
Right.
And let you guys know kind of what that means for us and sort of what we do. And so the spring equinox is really a beautiful time of year where we have a chance to plant seeds and just really give them some intention, help them grow, come together as a community, unite, and really sort of usher in that season of fertility of seeing the fruits of the seeds that we've planted just come to life in a positive, powerful, and beautiful way, and do that together and celebrate, coming through the dark season of winter where the nights are longer than the days, and just be able to celebrate together. So I talked about seed planting. So in the spring, you can also do it in the winter, but mostly in the spring, at the beginning of spring, we start to plant seeds. And we do that, physically speaking, but more from a spiritual and emotional standpoint. We sort of develop the ideas and set the goals that we want for ourselves for the year. It's what a lot of people do is like a New Year's resolution. And we did do some shows about that at the beginning of the year as well. So this will be a good bit of a reminder about, sort of where are we in our process? How do we celebrate together and lift each other up? But, when we talk about planting seeds and setting goals, that's the easy part. The part that comes after that is about how do we let go of outcome. And, Lisa, you talk about how you do that so well, how you set an intention, let go of the outcome. Speak a little bit more about that and tell us how you do that exactly.
Okay. Well, I think of a seed in a couple ways. An acorn. As little girls, we probably all picked up acorns. And what if someone had said to us, like someone had said to me, Lisa, do you realize that the big oak tree is in that acorn right now? I'm like, what? But it's true. And when we're born, as firstborn, the very first day, the old lady was in that baby of me.
Right.
So if we go with the flow and glow and not be attached to an outcome and just allow that tree, that acorn seed, after we've planted it, to grow in the big oak tree that it is already, or we allow our beautiful little baby body to grow into the wise old woman that we will be someday. And along the way, be sure to give it plenty of sunshine, water, and good soil, and good food as a human being, and love. And so it's how we nurture ourselves and nurture the seedling, the tree, that determines how sturdy and how healthy that tree is going to be every step of the way. So the attachment to outcome would be that I would be really worried about that tree, so I might overwater it, thinking too much. Detachment from outcome is allowing it, accepting, appreciating, and approving of the tree as it is right now in every stage of growth, but also being grounded in this game with the rules that it needs water, sunshine, and soil in order to thrive in the right amounts.
Right.
So as a human being, I realize in this game I'm playing that certain things serve me better than others. So if I choose the things that serve me better, I start to see myself as a healthier being.
That's really beautiful. Yeah. I was going to say, part of when we celebrate the equinox, we do so as a community. We do so together. And, we talked a little bit on our last episode about artificial intelligence and about how we're becoming a society that is happy to be on a device or sit behind a computer, and how connection is so important. And so what does it really mean that we come together as a community for you, Loretta, when we celebrate the change of seasons like this in terms of the equinox?
Well, I love those celebrations, of course, because, you get together, and I just think that, the combination of the focused energy and the focused intention is truly magical. And, because we also talked about in the previous episode about how we have all these, the cell phones or the distractions, and how, we've chosen almost as a society to not relate face to face anymore. But I think that having those community gatherings is that stems from long time tradition, right?
Right.
And great things can happen when people come together and unite in spirit and in thoughts. And so I think I'm just really excited for it.
Good. Yeah. I know. I love the fact that we talked a little bit about seed planting. I love the fact that we all kind of lift each other up.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know that whatever my intentions are that I bring to that gathering about what I want to continue to grow and how I want to continue to evolve throughout the year is also connected to supporting all of you and everybody else and whatever seeds they're planting as well. And so when we come together in that way, you talked about, together we kind of lift each other up.
Yep.
And I think that's beautiful. And one of the things that we've worked really hard to do is to choose places for these gatherings that balance all of the elements. So earth, air, fire, water, ether. And we really introduce all of those and sort of bring the energy of everything around us into our intention to, grow seeds for good intentions, both for ourselves, our communities, and for one another. And so bringing in the elements, what does that mean for you, Lori?
Well, the thing, I just feel like it's very powerful because we are elemental beings. And when you think of even the word elemental, it's simple and life is simple. And I was going to speak to your thought about the support for each other.
Yes.
It's really huge. It's very huge because a seed does need, sometimes like we think of tomato plants and they need that stick, because they get heavy when the fruits get really big. When I set intentions, I try to be aware of keeping it pretty broad to help me be detached from the outcome. If I know I want to make an impact in a certain area that might look very different from what I'm thinking about, but I can plant the seed that I'd like to make this impact. And by sharing it with everyone at the group and having all of the elements come together, I just feel like it is so supported. It's almost like when you're planting a seed and you put some bone meal in it, and the fertilizer, and you're putting whatever it is to really spark that seed to grow. By adding these elements in with our seed, I feel like we're giving it the food.
Right.
Just the perfect balance of the sunshine, the water, the air, the earth. We're giving it the perfect balance to really have a solid foundation to go. And the support.
That's pretty awesome. And I think it's also interesting that before the fall equinox, we all discovered that we were such a balance of all of the energies. Lisa, you're water. Loretta, you're fire. Lori, you're air. And I'm earth. And so, there's a lot of astrology around that. There's a lot of just lore and balance and all kinds of things around what those energies bring. But how does that impact, do you think, what we all bring individually to that celebration? How does our element impact what we bring?
I think it completes the circle. Definitely. It's almost like creating some kind of energy vortex, right? When we're standing on the corners.
It really
makes sense. Amplifying.
Yes, it does.
It really amplifies it. I feel like it was just once we stumbled upon that, right? Once we stumbled upon those elements, I just feel like it went through the roof. Amplifying it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I felt like we all really took a step forward in our power. You know, and I'm a huge proponent of elements, and I do feel like between astrology and palmistry and fingerprinting and all of that what we came here to do, and everything is literally written on us.
Right.
It's written on us, it's written in our DNA, and we can pretty much read it like a book once we become trained to do that. But when we realized our element, you know, and how as that element we move, like that was huge for me. It changed all of how I do my business, because I realized, oh gosh, as air, I react and interact this way. And so I really feel like it changes when we show up. It's almost like you're the flame, I'm the air, you're the rock,
Yeah,
you know,
we're the
right? You're the
representatives.
stream flowing us, you know. I mean, I just feel like it just blew the roof off.
Totally.
It was pretty cool, and I thought it was interesting, sort of the place that we all took too, because you always feed the fire,
Yes.
and as an air sign, air feeds
Right,
fire. So
right.
I thought
Isn't
that was
that
just
funny?
interesting, kind of how it all flowed.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to us coming together this time and really planting some great seeds and seeing what comes out of it as a group. And you know, that sort of leads me into my next question for you guys, which is about the importance of community and unity within community. And you know, we just touched on a little bit how important it is to come together in person, and how it helps you know, ourselves and each other as we're doing that. And so as we're evolving, what does it mean in this time and in this place? What does community unity mean to you, Lisa?
Well, I was just thinking when you said that, a couple years ago, I heard that a hug, which we can't do over the internet,
That's true.
be in person to hug each other.
Right.
And hugs are so awesome. Remember when handshakes
Yes.
were in and before
Yes.
hugs were out?
Yes.
And then hugs finally came in.
That's
Now
so
everybody
funny.
hugs in the corporate world and everything.
Right.
Sure.
But hug, I downloaded this. It just occurred to me, and everybody, you can borrow this, whatever you want. It is an acronym. Hug is an acronym for heart, unity, gift.
Wow.
Heart unity
Ooh,
gift.
I love
Wow.
that.
I like that a lot.
that.
Yes.
Oh, everybody coming to the bonfire is going to have to
Yeah.
brace themselves. I'm going to be hugging them up.
Yes.
So there's
I
some
love
kind of
that.
exchange, and the fact that you can come together with others that fill the gap on the elements, the fire, water, air, and earth,
Right.
and then the ether too. When we hug and our hearts are so close
Right.
in that exchange.
Well, they sync when you think of heart math too.
Okay.
Electrically, we sync.
Yeah.
Just like bringing your phone inside, it will sync to your
Yeah.
modem.
So
our hearts will sync when we hug.
Actually, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. It's not unity. I was thinking of unity. It's heart union gift.
Okay.
isn't that
I stand
beautiful?
corrected. That's what was downloaded
Heart
to me.
union.
Heart union
gift.
gift. Because
Unity
you
would work
reminded
too,
me
yeah.
because it's a union
Right.
now. The heart
Right.
becomes a union with each
Yes.
other when we hug.
Yes.
Heart union gift.
That's awesome.
Such a gift to each other. So community unity is really about our hearts being in union with communion with each other.
Right.
But heart union gift.
I like that.
You can't. Artificial intelligence is never going to be able to replace that.
Oh gosh.
I would agree.
Yeah.
You know, in Native American cultures, if you've ever been part of a Native American drum circle, one of the first beats that they do to bring a group together and to kind of sync everybody and get them in on the same vibration is they do a heartbeat, and everybody sort of joins in, and it starts out,
Yeah.
and everybody kind of joins in. And it's interesting if you, like I said, if you've ever been part of a drum circle, how when the beats switch or change, once that first beat is set, everybody all of a sudden comes into the same rhythm very quickly, and it's really a beautiful thing to behold. So I love that. That's kind of
Yeah, that's how I feel we can when we gather together and amplify each other's perfection, hugging is going to really assist in that.
I even like that phrase, amplify each other's perfection. I mean, that's
my
wonderful.
my
I'm going to have to
little
write that down
things.
too.
Yeah. That's one of the things that came to me.
Yeah. So,
You know.
what does it mean to you, Loretta, that when we talk about unity within community? Because that's a huge part of the experience when we come together, not just for the Equinox, but when we come together here to do taping and have great conversations and inspire each other and lift each other up. It's all part of it. I think whether you're in intimate relationship or you're in relationship to your friends or your coworkers or anything. So, what does community unity mean for you?
Well, it definitely enriches my life, right? Because when you have that type of community unity or even community with another person, just knowing you all has made my life richer in so many ways, right? And that's what it does for me. It just really kind of enriches who I am and my support network, my beliefs. The energy, of course. It's just, I mean, to me, it's a foundation, a very strong foundation.
I love that. And where would we be if people weren't here to share our lives with us?
Right.
I mean, we have to have people in order to be in this realm, right? I mean, and so I want to have community unity if I'm going to be with people.
Right.
Our neighborhood, we have a pretty fairly small neighborhood, and the thing that I like about it is we do a spring gathering and a fall gathering. And the thing that's really awesome about it is you get to see some of the... When I first moved there was like no kids, and now all the neighborhood is shifting, which has been beautiful, because as soon as a house sells, because we're kind of on a bridge price point wise, these young families come in. And they have these young kids, and then we can see how much they've grown.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because we talk, all the filters are off, you're having good food, if you've brought wine or, whatever you're having, we get to learn about what's going on in each person's life, each family's life. And so we get a little bit deeper each time. Like I found out one of the young mothers is a tutor. And so I had brought up the idea that as part of our newsletter or little handbook, put something about what we do. Or what our skill sets are.
Right.
What is our skill set? Mark is like the neighborhood handyman, and he never really opted for that, but they just know that he's super handy. But one of the young mothers is a tutor, and I said, gosh, if I had kids, I would want to know someone in my community did this. And because we gather, we really get to know people on a very different level than just, waving.
I think too about back when I was a kid in the 70s and the early 70s, mid 70s too, when my family lived in Michigan, and we had a bit of land, and we always had a garden, and our community would get together about once. Probably, it was usually more in the fall, and we would do a big cookout, and everybody would bring stuff, and it was kind of a community thing, and it wasn't a neighborhood because it was kind of out in the country, but everybody would just gather, and it would be at different people's houses or whatever. But throughout the year, they'd also, like the moms and dads would also get together and trade stuff. So, for example, if we had a really big bumper crop of tomatoes, and somebody else had a really big bumper crop of green and red peppers, everybody'd trade. And my mom knew how to can, so she taught a few of the other women in the neighborhood how to can so that they could can.
Nice.
And I really just remember some things like that. And if I was at someone's house, and at my friend's house playing, and the street lights would come on, her mom would pop in and say, street lights just came on, you need to hightail it home. And I'd be like, whoa boy, there go the Barbies and the baby dolls, and I'd be trucking it on home down the road. And so it was sort of, what I loved about it is that we also looked out for each other. And I feel like, to your point, Lisa, with the fear up and dumb down, that, sort of conditioning has sort of, scared the life out of us. It scared the community out of us in some ways.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
afraid to gather and to be a little bit vulnerable and say what we're going through or what's happening, or be of
Yes.
support to each other, or even trade food, or for that
Right.
matter.
I know,
And
isn't
so
that great?
I love that there's always this great trade that happens when we get together. Like somebody's got a book that they're bringing for somebody
Right.
else, or an oil, or an herb, or great food, or a
Right.
dish to pass,
Right.
or this great information I couldn't wait to tell you about, or whatever it is. There's this trade, and so. And even before there was this strong bond between us, there was this fun sense of community where we were trading information. Have you been on Gaia TV? Well, have you been on my YouTube channel? Where have you seen this? I just talked about that. Like, there's this excitement to share information that we know is going to help somebody else.
Right.
Right.
And so I am reminded of that sometimes when I'm hesitant to step into a little bit of vulnerability or discomfort to offer help or support or whatever to someone at work where it might not be entirely comfortable, or in my neighborhood where I might not know them real well.
Right.
Like, I was walking the other day with my dog. We had a really nice, kind of unseasonably warm day, and I was walking, and I always have a couple of dog litter bags tied to my handle of my dog's leash, and there was a guy, and he was there with his boxer, and I've seen him several times, and he was kind of standing there, and he looked really like nervous because he didn't have, I don't think he had anything with him. So I just sort of untied one of the bags, and I walked over, and I was like, do you need a bag? And he's like, yes. And I was like, I said, here you go.
Sweet.
And I said, you know what, my dog doesn't, we're still working on manners, so we're going to keep going, but, I'm glad I could help you out. And he's like, thank you so much. And I said, well, we'll see you later.
That's awesome.
So it was just this quick thing, like as owner to owner, if you're walking your dog and you don't have a bag for the dog business, you're like, where's the rock I can crawl under?
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
just something that simple, you
Yeah.
know?
And we have to be joined together in a space in order to be kind to each other.
Right.
So I think I'm going to take a stab at maybe wrapping us up here. Are you
I
guys
would
okay?
love
All right,
that.
let's see if I can do it. So we talked about the March equinox.
We did.
Being March 20th, 2018. And today is February 18, 2018. So we think that we're going to be posting it around that time. We talked about planting seeds and being detached from the outcome and allowing the seedling to grow into what it already was imprinted in the blueprint of the seedling by nurturing it with the four elements that we all are, water, fire, air, and earth, and giving it the right kind of nurturing in order to amplify its perfection. We talked about coming together in community unity and what does that mean to us, and I mentioned I like the heart union gift because that's actually hugging each other, and when we do that, then we can share our energy with each other and love each other all in one hug. And we talked about how in a community we can share our gifts, whether it's the handyman or the tomatoes or looking out for our children's, our neighbors' children with the street lights coming on, and all of these wonderful things that we can only do when we're together. Together we're better.
Right.
And so with that, does anyone else have anything to add on the wrap up?
I'm going to add one quick
Okay.
thing. One of the biggest things I love is that when we come together in community, we get an opportunity to lift each other up.
Oh, love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, lift each other
And
up.
so whether it can be a simple gesture, it can be coming together, just being together and being aware of what the other person's goal is and just adding your own energy to that to lift them up.
And that's why we have Rising Tides Global Facebook page where you can find all of our videos and also our YouTube channel, The Vision Within. Please subscribe and share. And with that, I'm Lisa.
Loretta.
I'm Lori.
And I'm Katrina.
Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.